Yeah. Yeah. I just, I don't know if we should get married. I mean, I feel like right now I've got a lot of other stuff going on in my life. And the last time I did, we ended up getting divorced because of the whole taxes things and stuff. And then the frogs. Frogs were a big problem. Yeah. And it's been a weird relationship with you. You want me to like fake our enemyship. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, geez. Oh, that's a running gag on our show for those of you who don't know. But anyways, here we are. So I am very late. I am sorry about that. I did promise 4 o'clock, and then the water ran out of my house, and a whole bunch of other stuff happened, which is kind of leading me to the point. And if you don't want to hear this stuff, you can skip to 5 and you can go straight to the Disney tier list. But I was thinking about just like quitting the live because it's just things go wrong all the time. I don't like when things go wrong. I'm too much of a perfectionist. I like when things go right. It makes me feel bad when things go wrong. I mean, we could still do skibidi toilet and stuff sometimes at the end of videos, but I don't know if I want to keep doing live. It's kind of like the same reason why I gave up common sense, because just when things can go wrong when you're doing it with somebody, and just no matter how much you plan, even if I plan out, it's just live. Live is for very people that can organize beforehand very well, and apparently I am not that type at all. Because even when I prepare very well, things still manage to go wrong. Although on that last episode, I don't know why it went black for several periods through. Maybe it was because I just didn't share it. I thought I did. Although, I did the same thing with a video previously, and it didn't go all black. There was still me showing. So I don't know why the whole thing went black, unless YouTube decided to, censor it. That's the only thing I could think of. I don't know why it would. But here we are. So this is it, everybody. Got my trusty iced tea. You're probably wondering why I'm going to do this. Why am I ranking the Disney movies? And the answer is, I don't know. I just always liked Disney. I see myself as kind of a Disney person. And I know it's a cartoon. I shouldn't like cartoons. And I try not to, but it's hard anymore. Because there's so many good cartoons, like the Looney Tunes and Pixar and the Disney animated films. And I don't care what anyone says, the Disney animated films are some of the best films that were ever created. And even like Pixar's close, I think. Studio Ghibli would be third. I like Studio Ghibli a lot, but it's a rough competition. You're competing against some of like the biggest animation studios in the world. It's not Studio Ghibli's fault. It's just big competition, I'm sorry. I like The Monkey Man more than Spirited Away. Okay, I don't know, like Tarzan as much as Spirited Away. I'd say I like probably Snow White more than Spirited Away. But that's what this whole thing is going to be, me deciding on these things. And yeah, I like animated movies. I'm sorry. But like, it's hard because, you're not supposed to. But like, there's just so many good ones coming out. I mean, I was working in the mentally challenged room before I ended up quitting that job. And I watched a little bit of Paddington 2. I was like, wow, that's actually pretty good. And just as a joke, I put it on and I was like, this is like one of my favorite movies now. And I'm not, it's about a bear, a talking bear. I shouldn't like this stuff. Phineas and Ferb is my favorite show. That's how great animation has become. It's just impossible not to enjoy some cartoons occasionally. I'm sorry. So if you're not a fan, well, I don't know what to tell you. It's a different world now. But anyways, I hope somebody joins. I don't blame you if you don't. This was short notice, and I realize 5 o'clock's kind of in the middle of the day, but it was just, one, we get the daytime, so it's going to be bright. There's not going to be like shadow problems. And two, I really wanted to do it right now. It was just a good time for me. Well, apparently it wasn't, because 4 o'clock through 5, I was so busy that I could not possibly do it. So I really feel bad about that. Not professional. Don't like when things like that happen. Kind of the reason why I might be giving up live. But we're about to be joined by the rest of you all, and we are going to do the Disney tier list. So I will pop it up here. First, let's share the screen. All right. I don't know what the fathom thing is. You can't see this, I don't think. But there's some kind of fathom thing up there. I will make sure, of course, but you should be able to. Yeah. So I'll check it. So if you're not familiar with what a tier list is, it's this. This is the rankings. S, I guess that means super. A, awesome. B, best. No, not best. Awesome, it'd be like middle of the road kind of. Still good. C would be like, I'd still say C was a success. And then D and F are the failures to me. Or maybe like these three. I'd say these three. Now, haven't seen is one that's that I have seen a lot of these Disney films. I have, but I have not seen them all. So it may be that I am missing out on one that, I mean, it's complicated because I have seen the majority of these animated films, but I don't remember them all greatly because I was young when I watched them. And some of them I'm not 100% sure I've seen, but I'm pretty sure I have at least good parts of it. Because, you know, your mind, when you're young, you kind of forget exactly all the things you've seen. But hopefully I've memorized the majority of this. I hope this isn't moving slow. It looks like that might just be for me. Anyways, let's just get into this. This is taking way too long. The Disney animated film. So let's look at what the list entails. I hope somebody comes to watch this. This is just because I love Disney, though. I just really love these movies. I think they're all, and that's the thing about this. Let's go ahead and like spoil a little bit here. None of these films I dislike to any great degree. Well, with the exception of one. There's only one film, one Disney animated film I legitimately despise, and I will be talking about it. All the rest of them are probably like there's not going to be many on the on this here on the F tier. There isn't going to be much on the F tier. It's probably going to be more on the haven't seen tier because there's only one I don't like that I know of. I know what it is, and it's just the one. But I also have two that I know are going to go on the S. I just have to decide which one of them. And I got to go tell you, I'm a classic guy, so I'm going to go for the more classic ones. But we'll see. Okay. Let's start with the first one that pops up, The Adventures of Ichabob and Mr. Toad. Definitely seen it. Remember it being very short. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was scary. I thought it got across what it was trying to do. I'm putting it on B tier, but I think it really may be more like the A tier because it's just such classic. You don't remember it though, but it's kind of only because it's underrated because there's a lot of good animation in that film. It was it wasn't really the start of the animation, but it was definitely maybe A tier. I'll put it on the A tier because I feel like I don't think I have that many criticism of it. It's kind of underrated. I really like The Legend of Sleepy Hollow and The Wind in the Willows. One of my favorite books. Probably not. I'd say probably in the top 100. It's just a really good book. I don't care what anyone says. Cinderella. Oh, geez. See, this is why it's going to be hard because so many of these are at least going to be at the A tier. Like, I don't know. Oh, man. I remember watching this a lot when I was a kid. It's a Disney princess movie, so it is kind of embarrassing to admit that I do legitimately enjoy it. And even though people say that the Disney live action films are all bad, the Cinderella one, I distinctly remember being good. I was like, yeah, that was good. I actually don't know if it is as good as Ichabod and Mr. Toad, though. So I'm going to put it in the A tier. By the way, I love these tier list things. This is why I wanted to do, one of the main reasons that I wanted to do this is maybe the last live, because I just love listing things and giving people my opinion. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, or Alice in Wonderland. Love the book. It's really weird. I was in the play as the March Hare, and I think I did a pretty good job. I played him as crazy as possible, which you have to do if you're going to play the March Hare. In fact, you almost got to upstage the Mad Hatter. That's what I found out. I thought I was funny. The little kids saw just a crazy guy, and I don't think they liked it very much. But man, it's gonna be hard because most of these are gonna be in the A tier. Do I like Alice in Wonderland more than Cinderella? Just because it's more crazy, I think I do. But I don't know if I'd go as far as saying it's as good as Ichabod and Mr. Toad. It's a film I know Walt Disney, because I know a little bit about Walt Disney Pictures. Because I'm a good fan of I grew up with them. This is all we had when we were kids. These movies made my life. I love them all, like I said. I think this though really works. I think that really works. Cinderella's a great movie though. Well, it's in the A tier, so obviously Peter Pan. Oh geez. Oh, why are all these films so doggone good? They're all gonna be like A. I could not possibly not put this in the A tier. Probably not the S tier yet. I guess the S tier is for the really, really special films. I wouldn't want to put it in the B tier. I don't even really like saying that movies aren't really, because most movies are. I am of the opinion that most stories are good. The majority of stories are good. It actually takes hard work to make a bad story. It's definitely I don't have the courage to put it in the B tier, even though it does kind of fit there really well. I'm gonna put it in the A tier. Maybe I'll find one I haven't watched. That could be kind of fun. Lady and the Tramp's going in the S. Lady and the Tramp is an absolute masterpiece. What I really liked about Lady and the Tramp is the plotting. The plotting is just absolutely beautiful in Lady and the Tramp. Some of the best plotting ever done, at least for the animated films. Honestly, in film history, this really good plotting. And when I say that, I should explain myself. What I mean is, like, I like the way that it goes from like, oh, she's on her own little adventure, then she runs into the tramp, and then it comes about going back home, and then even just that rat scene. That's the most unexpected ending possible. And it really works for that movie. It's the baby, it's her proving herself, and then she ends up. I'm sorry if I get any of these stories wrong. I have a pretty good memory from my childhood. I always remembered movies really good when I was a kid for whatever reason, but my memory isn't exactly perfect. I think I got the details mostly right. Anyways, I have to put Lady and the Tramp in S. Sleeping Beauty, another A. I think though it isn't. Peter Pan isn't as good. I'm gonna have to put it. Battle between Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty. Well, Cinderella, you're going back a little. Sorry. And it's sad too because I really identify with Cinderella as a character because I think my life has been very unfortunate too. But yeah, gotta go. 101 Dalmatians. This is actually, and I've read actually the majority of the books. I don't know if Lady and the Tramp is actually based off a book. I know I've read all of these books, including 101 Dalmatians. I have read that by, what's her name? Dottie. Her name was actually Dottie. It was really weird. But I will put that. Oh, it was a good one. I don't think it is S tier, though. Would it be above The Adventures of Ichabod? I think it is above Alice in Wonderland. It is such good animation. Even the original writer thought it was a masterpiece, or it was good. And just the animation on that one, just great story. A lot of new techniques being used with like the TV screen. There's a lot of really innovative stuff going on. Just one of the reasons why I think these movies are starting to become undervalued as we get like the new style coming in, and everyone think, well, this new style is way more amazing because it speaks more to me. It's speaking more to you because these people lived during your times. Like, these movies spoke to that generation. Like, that's the thing. Sword in the Stone, I love this one when I was a kid. It's a great movie. I hate, though, to put it in like the A tier, though. I'm sorry. I really like it a lot. I think it still goes, and I'll say this: it has to go below Peter Pan. I actually remember this. The kid's voice was a little off in this movie because of, I guess he was going through puberty. I didn't realize it at the time. I was like, why does his voice keep changing? There's a lot of weird things about this movie. It almost seemed like an educational movie or something. Is very strange. But, I think as an educational movie, it was fun. It was a good little adventure, It was a good kind of educational, not the boring kind. I almost hate putting it in the A tier because I feel like it's more of a B tier. But the A tier, most of these movies are probably going to go in the A tier because there's so few that go in the B tier. I don't know. Let's say the S tier is 100. This is 90. Will this be an 80? I think it's probably in the B tier. I will say that's still like an 80. It's a very high 80. In fact, maybe Peter Pan should go in the B tier too. I'm not going to put Cinderella, though. That would be just a crime. Let's put this here. Oh, I missed it. Sorry. Peter Pan and Sword in the Stone. Yeah. So far, Sword in the Stone is the worst film at like a high 80%. That gives you an idea of what I have to work with. I'm telling you, these movies were all almost perfect. The Jungle Book. Okay. I love doing this. This is my thing. I just love ranking things. The Jungle Book is not C. It's not D or F. I don't think it's a B, though. I think it's higher than a B. I do feel like there's a lot more wrong with it than people give it credit for, but it's still, even with those little things wrong, like they repeat some animation, that sort of stuff happened all the time with Disney. And also, it doesn't really hurt the film at all. Like, you'd almost have to like know to know. And a lot of the acting was really good. It's interesting. I just don't know if it's like at that level. I think it is actually better than Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, though. I feel like I should put it behind 101 Dalmatians. It is, oof, I don't know. That might be even an injustice because the Jungle Book is so good. I do think that's fair, though. No, I love this movie. I'm going to put it, should I put it above Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad? I have to let 101 Dalmatians. I think it's more to do with all of you than me, because I think this would be higher if it was just all my opinion, but a little bit of this is going to be for all of you. I like to, that's a good way to do it too, I think, when you're grading something, to keep in mind how other people are going to feel about it. So I will say that even though I think, and I know a lot of people like The Jungle Book, but I think if you're going for like filmmaking perfection, there's a lot that went wrong with The Jungle Book and not as much with 101 Dalmatians. But I have read The Jungle Book too. Very good book. I read a lot of books, a lot of children's literature. Again, I'm kind of weird. The Aristocats. This is a movie I have seen. I don't remember much about. It's about this butler who, if my childhood memory is right, he drops these cats into the water. As a kid, I really liked it, but I think it's more in the level of Sword in the Stone, which I guess is so this is 100, this is like a 90, and this is like an 80. So these are all high 80s, probably like more in the 85, maybe 80 range. I actually think this is probably like an 80. Good movie, but yeah, little bit. I remember the animation being a little off even as a child. I guess a lot of this is coming from the voice of a child, and it's a good voice to come from. Although I have seen some of the we got the good one. So I just saw this movie, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Oh my gosh. Oh, What I mean, this may be the greatest movie ever made. It is definitely going in S, and it's definitely going above Lady and the Tramp. So, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, from an animation point, is is breathtaking. It's not only just the first animated film, but it did things that animated films would struggle to do afterwards. Like people were like crying out like how excited they were in Coco to see characters playing instruments. They do that in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. People were like applauding Shrek for having water and you know they or in Finding Nemo too. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs did it first. They had the characters, water running through people's fingers for the first animated film ever made. That should have been impossible. And it's so natural. It's not like they just like, oh, okay, let me show you this cool, amazing thing we're able to do. No, it fits into the story beautifully. It is the characters. A lot of people complain about the characters. I like Snow White. I think she's a very interesting character, and I think she's a good role model for young girls. I mean, she likes to like clean, but I like housework. So I'm not, I mean, and the prince, I know he's not that great of a character, but he's only in the film for like 20. He's not even really a character. He's like he comes in for just a second. Like if he was in the story longer, it would be a problem, but he's not. As for the dwarves, I do think you don't get like a great deal of personality from all of them, but here's the thing: they're named after what they are, and at the time that was rather a new idea. It might not seem like it now, but it was kind of what they were as magical creatures. They were just these feelings, and I don't know. Maybe I'm just defending it, but I have a right to. This is animation at its finest. It may end up being the best Disney animated film ever for me. I feel like it's. I don't understand why society does. She's so brave. That's what gets me about Snow White. Like the things she puts up with, and yeah, she cries and she struggles, but she gets through it. And in the end, what she did wasn't like I even like her flaw, which wasn't even that bad. That's one of the things to me too that parts her from being just this normal bland character. She has a flaw. She likes apples. She's easily manipulative. She's a little naive. This is her first time out of the castle. Very good understanding of how someone would be being put out into this huge world that she's so unaware of. It is, yeah, I can't praise that movie enough. I don't care what. I loved it when I was a kid. I thought it was one of the best animated films I'd ever seen. Robin Hood. So I saw this recently. I really liked it when I was a kid, probably more than I do now. But when I was a kid, I was like, this is like the best movie ever. And now, as an adult, I don't really like everyone's talking like they're in the Dukes of Hazzard. It's really weird. It's like a story, but the main character is British. And it's just kind of confusing now for me whenever I think back on this movie. But the action scenes are breathtaking. There's all these like quiet moments. It's a really cool, fun movie. If you're a kid, you will definitely like it. When I was a kid, I loved it. I don't feel like though I'm betraying my childhood self because again, I still like this movie. Maybe not as much as I used to, but so I'm talking about it like it's bad. But man, that animation, those action scenes, even the humor, it's definitely in the A tier. I know that's kind of surprising. I am going to put it a little lower than some of these other A tiers, but yeah, uh, definitely in the A tier. So it's like a 90. Yeah, I'm not even joking. I know. Winnie the Pooh. Have I seen this one? This isn't. I don't think this is the old one. This is the new one. The Mini Adventures. I'm not sure if I've seen this one actually. The Mini Adventures of Winnie. Let me check. Is it the old one or the new one? Well, no, it must have been the old one because I don't see the. Oh no, there's Winnie the Pooh. Okay, so yeah, this is the older one. I actually did watch this recently. I was watching it with a kid. To be fair to me, it's very good. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of scenes that were recycled, and there's a lot of weird things. Like a lot of the page numbers repeat. This one I definitely have a really good memory of because I watched it recently. I still really like it. I actually think, though, even though it's got like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, I don't think I like it as much as some of these films. I think I don't want to say it's overrated. I just think that it has more faults in it. I guess for the time period, it wasn't such a big deal, but I still wouldn't feel comfortable putting it up here with these A ones. These A ones are, I mean, Sleeping Beauty is so gorgeous with its animation. Meanwhile, The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh looks a little lazy, honestly. But is it as bad as, like, well, it has 80% is, oh my gosh, we're running low on fuel here. So we're going to take a 5-minute intermission. You all can just relax. If you want to skip, go ahead. I'll see you back at the 30-minute mark. Okay, I hope no one's confused. The 30-minute mark. I'm going to go get an extension cord. One more minute. Yes, looks very nice. Okay, so everything's going well. Okay. Put out a heart for all of you. Getting close. You didn't miss much. I'm surprised that thing was as low as it was. Good to do an intermission, though. You can all pee. we're back. So, when last we left, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was the best. The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh was the worst. I thought about it and I was like, you know what? I got to take you guys' opinions into account, and it was really nicely animated. I do think it's better animated. So I'm going to move this up a little bit to below Peter Pan, which I actually think is pretty fair. Now, The Rescuers. Whew. Talk about a movie I don't remember very well. I have seen it. I mean, I remember liking it a lot. I feel like it is probably in the B tier. I think it's kind of gotten a bad reputation nowadays. Doesn't deserve it at all. I think it is, though, below. It's just a good little fun story, good little fun adventure. That's a problem. All of these, I could just say, these are just good little adventure stories. I could grow up with these, you know? There's not a lot of bad ones on this list. But I do think it is above Aristocats and below The Sword and the Stone for sure. And, you know, one of the reasons the Mini Adventures of Winnie the Pooh moved up was because it is meant for it's meant for, like, I don't want to say babies, but like little kids. It's not really my thing. I mean, you know, I grew up with Winnie the Pooh. I mean, good gosh, when you're a little kid in preschool, yeah, you're going to like it. But once you get older, it really doesn't become your thing. Like, Francis's new favorite thing is a Winnie the Pooh. But when she gets older, I doubt Winnie the Pooh is going to be one of her favorites. So you see what I'm doing with this one here. We are moving it up to here. The Fox and the Hound is one of the masterpieces of Disney. I mean, it's about. I remember this being one of my favorites when me and Corey were little, and it is just the animation's good, the story is good, and I'd say good, but I actually mean masterpiece level. It's a very powerful movie. It really is, and that black bear fight, I like would fast forward to the end just to watch that. Definitely one of Disney's best outings. I also like that the fox's name is Todd. That to me is a huge. The Black Cauldron. So that deserves. Does it deserve to be in the A tier? I just don't think it's a B. I really don't. Like, I know the main character is a little bit off. But, you know, I do see why someone would put it. And I'm thinking about this up here, the S tier. It's not 100%, I don't think. It'd be like 100%, maybe like 99%, 98%. Like anything 97 to 100, I think. Because getting to 100% is almost impossible. Only Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs has 100% right now. Because the whole point of 100% is it's hard to get to that point. And even if you get to 99%, it should be even harder to get to 100%. There's just not going to be a lot of movies that make it to that point. I really like The Black Cauldron a lot. It was one of my favorite animated films growing up as a kid. I just thought it was cool. You know, it's a lot darker than a lot of Disney animated films. It's tough because it's my personal taste in it was really, really good. I don't know if it's 90, though. Is it at the same level as, like, Robin Hood? I would say it's probably behind Robin Hood. It's probably just a little bit behind Robin Hood. Like, really close. Could be in the 80s, though. Could be right here. It's right in between B and A. I'm sorry. I know Gurgi was a little annoying for some people. When you're a kid, you just don't mind. That's the truth. Okay, good. All right. Oof. Black Cauldron, Peter Pan. Let's put it in the B. I think it's a little below Peter Pan, honestly. So I am going to put it in the B tier. There were things, even when I was a kid, I remember not really liking about this movie. But still thinking Is it better than Winnie the Pooh, though? No, it's not. If I'm being honest, I still really like this movie. Do I like it more than Sword in the Stone? Yeah, I do. I think it's more focused than the Sword in the Stone was. So I think that's pretty fair, honestly. And it's still an 80. It's still in the 80s. I know I really went down on it. It's just I also have to think too about you all. And I think your opinion really does help lower it down to that 80%. But it's still really good. Disney does not need to feel bad about that movie. It's still a success, like all of their films. So I know I'm putting it in C tier, The Great Mouse Detective. Oh, believe me, you're gonna be surprised with this one. Is it second best? Yes, it is. Sorry. I know that's not going to be a popular opinion. The Great Mouse Detective is amazing. The character, okay, maybe not as good as Lady and Tramp, but definitely better than The Fox and the Hound. Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. Third. Okay, third place. It's really good. The character of Basil is probably one of my favorite renditions of Sherlock Holmes, except maybe the show Elementary did a really good job with it too. There's a few others that did a really good job changing the character. It's just such a great character. You can do so many different versions. Basil was a surprisingly interesting version of Sherlock Holmes. The actor did a great job. Man, what a film. It's so underrated. It is probably the most underrated Disney film, and it's one of the best. I'm sorry. It is one of the best. The villain and character good guy dynamic alone makes this one of the best Disney films. And also the animation is great. I actually saw this recently, so I know for a fact that even as an adult, this movie just it kicks butt. All children should watch The Great Mouse Detective. I remember as a kid thinking, well, that was really good. Like I'd never seen it. I was like, I can't believe I've never seen this. And it ended up being like one of the best. Oliver and Company is a complicated one. One, I don't really remember it that well, but also like I don't really know. And we're getting close to the end. No, we still got a little time. Still got about another half an hour. I don't remember it too well, but also I'm not sure what I'd call it. Like as far as this goes. I mean, it's definitely better than like the Aristocats. Some of the songs are really bopping. So I think that really elevates it. It's definitely I mean, I know I haven't put many in the C tier, but there's good reason for that because not many of these movies are in the C tier. And one of the reasons too with that is that with animation, it takes years to make these movies. You're bound to get something at least an 80%. There's very few animated movies because they work on them for so long that get lower than an 80% really. So there may not be many in the C tier. I think that's fair where it is right now. The Sword and the Stone, Oliver and Company, the Rescuers and the Aristocats, which I'm sorry to the Aristocats. I don't hate that movie either. I really don't. Oh, you might be disappointed by this one though. We'll start with The Little Mermaid. Whew, I don't think it's as good as The Great Well, no, maybe it is. Maybe it is. The Great Mouse Detective is going to be pushed back to there. No, to there. Second place. Yeah, that's pretty fair. I'm sorry as a child. This is going to make me sound as lame as possible. I was obsessed with The Little Mermaid. Mostly because I wanted to date her. But also just because, I don't know, I like the end scene with the pirate. It's such a perfect story. I don't really see much wrong with it. I really don't. I don't think there really was much wrong with it. It's probably very close to 100%, if not 100%, like a 99.9, kind of like the Two Towers, where it's just so close to 100%. It's not even funny. Maybe even 100%. I'm not sure. I guess I got to make up my mind with these. I'd say this is 100%, and this is a 99.99999%. Really close to that, but this is probably like at 99 too. And this would be 98, I think. This is 97. So I'm not going to give the exact number for all of these, though. The Rescuers Down Under. So I'm sorry. I remember watching this as a kid, watching it a little bit more as an adult. I, I feel bad because I know this one's very popular with some people. I couldn't get into it. I'm sorry. I'm going to put it in the C tier to be fair. It is good. There's some beautiful animation, even like some of the shots, the incoming shots. There's definitely some like CGI or something going on with that film because some of that stuff, there's no way you could have done it with animation. Very breathtaking. Probably in actuality better than the original. But I just didn't like the story that much. I really didn't. As a child, even, I was like, this is a little like you got the little henchman. I don't know. As a kid, I didn't like it. I'm going to go with my child self. Yeah, yeah, I'm sorry. And it's a good movie. It's still in the, that's still a 70% right there. That's that 70% mark. That's good. Like, I know a lot of these movies are getting those kind of grades, but like that's because animation is so good. I mean, it's just hard to fail. Beauty and the Beast. Oh, you're going to love this. So it is going. Sorry, I put it too high up. F. Just kidding. That'd be awful. Of course not. It's going right up here. It's a movie that's trying its best to be this perfect, beautiful thing, and it succeeds. I was thinking about it. I guess Shrek is better at telling the story of how people can fall in love with people even if they're not good looking. But Beauty and the Beast does it with more style. It's not just that. The animation's beautiful. There's a part of me that thinks it's better than Snow White, but I still got to put it in like second. I don't know. I'm starting to feel sorry for the Great Mouse Detective. I was thinking it was going to be in like the top 10. What's the time? 41. Oh, we're still doing good. Okay, good. Because I want to keep going with this. Yeah, no, the animation's beautiful. The ballroom scene, way ahead of its time. It probably would have been very difficult to do back then. I don't know the exact technical aspects of it, but I know it was probably very hard. Yeah, just a great story. Belle's such a great character. Yeah, just great. I've never actually seen the live action version of this. It might be really good. I've never seen the Little Mermaid or the Lady and the Tramp. Or I saw Cruella. Cruella was great. That would definitely be up here in the A tier if Cruella was part of this, but it is not. Pinocchio. Ooh. It's weird because I really like this movie, but I was thinking it's 100% on Rotten Tomato, at least when I last looked at it. It seems to be like changing a lot, but I watched it. There was a lot of jokes I didn't think were that funny. I was kind of surprised I didn't end up liking it more. I do think it's better than at least the Fox and the Hound, though. I wish I could say it was better than it is. It's very beautiful animation, and there's much more of a story than even Snow White. I don't know. I mean, to be honest, it is probably, if I'm being totally fair, it is probably better than The Great Mouse Detective. Just a few jokes didn't work with Pinocchio. Better than Lady and the Tramp. Is it better than Lady and the Tramp? The plotting was better. Okay, yeah. So it was tough. The animation was very ahead of its time with Pinocchio. That's the thing to know. It's very beautiful. There's just a few jokes that didn't work. It's not really fair to take so much away from it. I think it's a little bit it's definitely lesser than these films, but still very much in the S tier. Like a 99%. This is 100%. This is right here. These are in the 100%. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Beauty and the Beast. This is so close. This is even closer. No, it's not closer. Sorry. It's a little less closer. Some of those jokes were pretty bad though for Pinocchio. I was surprised. They're long scenes. That's the thing. It's not just like one bad joke. It's like this whole scene of Pinocchio. And I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact jokes. Believe me, they were very bad, very weak. Aladdin. Sorry, I got distracted by one of the greatest Disney films ever made. Not a fan of the people that dislike this film because I don't know what your problem is. The plotting was great. Nothing was I mean, everything. I watch computer animated films now. I don't think they're as perfect as Aladdin. I think Aladdin's better. It was very funny too for its time, so it's very ahead of its time. Pretty much all the like Shrek comedy you get in computer animated movies nowadays, that was from Aladdin. Aladdin started that trend. It was kind of sad with Robin Williams that they started bringing in big actors to voice these characters, but completely fair. I don't like to say this, but I think that actors, even if they're not voice actors, can do a pretty good job. You know, I hate to admit it, but like Jack Black does a great job as Kung Fu Panda. Like he does as good as probably most voice actors could do. And it's sad to bring in, but Robin Williams was such a perfect person to play the genie. He made it, and I don't care what anyone says. Aladdin and Jasmine are two of the most fascinating characters in a Disney film. I think they're even better than Beauty and the Beast. Aladdin's got a little bit of a dark side. He's not really the guy that everyone thinks he is. He has a lot of flaws, much like in the original Aladdin story. They just hide it a little more. You have to look. That's part of it. That's kind of the point. He's not a perfect person, but he's still out for the better good. That's what makes it work. Also, I just have a thing for Arabian Tales. I love genies. Favorite fantastical creature, the Lion King. Well, yeah, that's in the S tier. Greater than the Great. Gosh, I was thinking the Great Mouse Detective was going to be like so high, and everyone was going to be like, "Yeah, you gave the Great Mouse Detective the respect it deserved," but like, it's getting pretty low now. Still, I don't think it's actually as good as Lady and the Tramp. I can't really explain. The plotting was so good in Lady and the Tramp. I swear it's better than probably all these movies, but a plot alone doesn't make a film. Yeah, this is a fair ranking. I think this putting it below Lady and the Tramp, I think is right, but just like very close. Beautiful animation. Definitely like I don't know if it was the start of the Disney Renaissance, but definitely there's a few things. Some of the jokes didn't land, I think, from Timon and Pumbaa for me. Even that though. I mean, see, this is the problem. Even criticizing these films up here, it gets really hard because these films are so good. So many more reached the S tier than I ever would have thought. Pocahontas, I always liked it. I put it in the 80s. I think it's better than Peter Pan for sure. Well, no, maybe not. Yeah, no, I'd say it's better than Peter Pan. I think people are a little hard on it from what I've heard. I mean, the animation looks good. I know there's some like about Indian rights and stuff. And that's all true and all. As a work, I liked it as a lot as a kid. I have to be completely honest. I think it's a good film, at least in the 80s. Yeah, I think it's better than Peter Pan. The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Big film. Huge film. It is an epic. Beautiful animation. Really loved it. When I was a child, I was scared to death of Frollo. I have read the book. Frollo's even worse in the book, but they did a really good job in that for like what was like an hour and a half movie. I don't think it was 2 hours. Yeah. This will be my surprise one. The Hunchback of Notre Dame is not only in the S tier, but right up there with The Little Mermaid. It's like 99, a little bit worse because of the gargoyles. I don't always think Disney's the best with comedy, really. Like, It's pretty good, but it's not like the best ever, I don't think. Not like DreamWorks or something. They're not as funny. Of course, they just have a different style. Their humor is much lighter. So yeah, I think that's pretty. Wow, a lot more went to the S tier than I ever would have thought. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Already 10, and there's going to probably be more. Just to get you ready. Hercules. As a kid, I remember everyone liking this, but apparently it didn't do very well, which surprises me because when I was a kid, everyone was talking about it. Everyone had like the shoes and stuff. I mean, I liked it. It's definitely in the B tier. This is the problem. All of these are going to be so high. None of these are really bad movies. They're all like 80s and stuff. No, Peter Pan's better. Better than Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. It was a good movie. I don't really remember it that well. There's something about the characters. And Mulan, I never watched the live action version of this. I don't really remember liking this as much. When I was a kid, I liked it well enough. It was another good one. Definitely in the 80s. I'd say it's above Hercules and Peter Pan and Pocahontas. But I put it in like the 90s though. I don't know if it's definitely like an 89.99999. It's kind of one of those deals. So yeah, put that up here. Thinking about it, maybe Pocahontas is a little below Peter Pan. I think that would be more fair. Okay, this is hard to do. These movies, there can be like 0.0001 difference between them. We gotta hurry just a little bit. Tarzan. We're not doing any. We're not doing the computer animated ones. I've decided. One, we don't have time, and two, Tarzan. Let's not hurry too much. We'll get it done. Tarzan is an A, I'd say. Was it an A or really close to an A? Well, no, I was talking about S, actually. Sorry. Is it an S or is it really close to an A? Is it really close to the S? Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. Tarzan, The Fox and the Hound. I feel like Tarzan's better than The Fox and the Hound. Yeah. I don't know is it as good as The Great Mouse Detective, though? I don't think it's as good as The Lion King. Let's put it right between there. I think that's pretty fair. Tarzan, The Great Mouse Detective, The Fox and the Hound. I feel like it's for some reason too high. A lot of people apparently didn't like the music that went with this. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I liked it well enough. It did what it was supposed to. I was never bothered by it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah. Tarzan, really some very imaginative stuff with it. Great Mouse Detective, though. Okay, yeah. Tarzan was probably better than The Great Mouse Detective. Man, I can't believe how high The Hunchback of Notre Dame got. It was a really big movie, though. I mean, it makes sense. Maybe, though, it's a little below Pinocchio now that I look at it closer. I don't think it's as good as Lady in the... I think it's better than Lady in the Tramp, though. No, I think that's okay. I think we're just going to have The Hunchback of Notre Dame as a surprise one. There are probably better, I think the silent film version of Hunchback of Notre Dame is better, but that is true. That one was 100%. The silent film version of Hunchback of Notre Dame. I watched a lot more movies than I realized starting this. Man, Little Mermaid, perfect almost. And this is really close. I liked it better than Pinocchio or even Lady and the Tramp. I think for me it would be, and For other people, I think Hunchback of Notre Dame would be a little lower, but it's just going to have to be the surprising one of the group. Fantasia 2000. Actually, yeah, that's pretty right. Those guests, I agree with the majority of the internet because I did research this a little bit before I started it. And yeah, I agree with the internet. This is definitely brought down a lot by those celebrity guest appearances, which is a pretty big part of the movie. So I'd put it in the C category. Still not a failure. Dinosaurs is going in D. I'd actually planned, although I'm not doing the computer animated films. Wait, should I not even worry about these? Yeah, let's not worry about these. I don't want to do these yet. Maybe some other time. But it would be a D, just to spoil it for you. The Emperor's New Groove. This was really funny when I was a kid. Yeah, no, the funniness of this movie really propels it. Above the Sword and the Stone, Black Cauldron. Not the best Disney movie ever. I think I heard someone say that once. No. Best. But it's... You know what? I think it's in the A tier. I'd say A is pretty accurate. I'd say it's above Robin Hood and Cinderella. No, not Cinderella. So it'd be below Cinderella. It'd be better than Robin Hood. I loved Robin Hood when I was a kid, but The Emperor's New Groove is really pushed ahead by its comedy. And, in the animation too, all that stuff, everything went well with The Emperor's New Groove. Really weird movie, though. David Spade is like a llama. Just weird. Fantasia. The greatest movie of all time. It's going high. It is going to go very high. So when I started this was kind of the movie I was afraid of, Fantasia, because I know a lot of people don't like it because it's weird. I think when I was going to do this, I was like, it's going to be between Snow White and Fantasia. I know it is. And I'm right. It is. It's between these two perfect movies. 100% both. I really prefer Snow White. That's the truth. And I do recognize for other people, this movie can be boring. For me, I was never bored by it because I always saw it as just the kind of film you go to sleep to, It's the kind of film you just sit there. It's meant to make you lull you into sleep. So yeah, I think this is fair. I think I am going to go with second for Fantasia, and Snow White is number one, which isn't really a too surprising take, but I'm sure for some people, Fantasia would be the best, and to be fair, it's 100%. It's one of the best films I've ever seen. Top 100, both of these films. Probably Beauty and the Beast too. Maybe not Aladdin is one of my top 100, but definitely these three. At least these two, and probably this one would be in my top 100 films of all time. These animated films, I tell you, they were so good. And it was a different time too. There was so much pressure to make these films, they were under such stress, because everything's most people couldn't do this. So they were really trying to prove themselves. This is a great film too. I don't know why people give it a hard time. I'm tempted to give it like a 90. I think an 80 would be more honest though. Probably better than the Black Cauldron, and probably better than Winnie the Pooh, to be honest. Better than that. I don't think it's better than Pochahontes, though. I'm not going to go that far. Still a really great movie. Again, all these movies, it's like comparing diamonds. It really is. I don't care what anyone says. These movies are all so good. Lilo and Stitch, two really good characters. I'm actually going to put this in the C category, though. I'm not even joking. I'm being quite serious. When I was a kid, this movie really grossed me out because the girl bit people and stuff. And it's a very high C. It's like a 79. I felt the story was an advertisement for the show more than anything else. I just didn't feel like, it just concentrated on beating up this girl who was a little weird. And also at the same time, you couldn't help but agree. So it wasn't really the character to follow. The show was way better. And I will say, Stitch, one of the greatest Disney characters of all time. Just a great character for boys and girls, for adults. He's funny. He's wonderful. I love him. He would be in the S tier. If I could put a character up here, he would be in the S tier. I feel bad about putting Lilo and Stitch so low, but to be fair to me, it's still in the C tier. This is still a pass. This is still me going, yeah, these movies succeed. Treasure Planet, D. Yeah, I didn't really like that film. It's too gross. There's like boogers and stuff going on, slime. I could never get into it. I barely remember it. I don't even know if I made it through the whole thing because I hated it so much. It was apparently a passion project of these two directors, and they did not do a very good job. It was a very bad film. It was not very good. I think they failed to make a film, even really. And I like the original Treasure Island book. I love that. I don't know why Treasure Planet didn't work for me. And now we come to the worst animated film, the only film in this entire library I particularly despise, that I would go into the like 20% category. Brother Bear. Brother Bear is one of the worst films I've ever seen. It is up in the, I'd say, the top 100. It is terrible. The 20% might even be too high. It was just bad. The animation's boring. So much of the environment looks like it was repeated. Even as a kid, I was like, some of these jokes, like the I Spy joke, is really weak. Not bad. I think the I Spy joke with the moose was kind of funny, but like, it's just the animation was bad. The characters weren't that good to me, and it was kind of disturbing. Like, I get that if someone kills your mother, you might like be able to forgive them, but I don't know if I want to hang out and be that person's best friend. I mean, you're bringing up subjects I don't even want to think about as a child, and I don't think many children are going to be going through these subjects like, oh, like what should I do if I should become the best friends with my mother's murderer? That's not even a situation that ever comes up. What is the point of this movie? It's just, I did not like that movie at all. It's terrible, not fun. No, it just wasn't even fun. Like, it was just like, the mooses weren't funny. They were just like Canadian. That was their whole stitch. Nothing more to them. Just a terrible movie. I refuse to speak highly about it in any way. It is just awful. I'm sorry if you like it. I cannot stand it. Do not get it. So, Home on the Range, I think I really just liked it. And I don't remember this movie very well at all. It was kind of like a fever dream when I was a kid. But I don't know if I'd hate it. One thing I liked about it was the three lady cows were kind of good characters, because just the fact there were older women was something you'd never seen before in any of these films. These are the three most unique characters. It actually helped the movie a lot. Simple enough story. I remember liking some of the artwork, if memory serves me right. But now we're going to get into the last. We're only doing the animated film, so no Dinosaur, Chicken Little, Meet the Robinsons, or Bolt. Maybe we'll do those another time. But Princess and the Frog. Very great movie. Is it in the S tier, though? I don't know. The plot was kind of confusing. There were some pretty dumb moments. I don't think, some people have been mean to this movie. I think it was really good still. I would say it was at least better than Peter Pan. Definitely, if this is the last Disney animated film, even though I know it wasn't, they did do Winnie the Pooh. If this was the last Disney animated film, I think it was a pretty good ending to it all. Not like the perfect ending you'd expect, but pretty good. So I'd say, I think that's pretty fair. Yeah. Plot was a little confusing. Yeah, the characters were great. Songs were beautiful. Just absolutely gorgeous songs. Now we come to Dumbo, which goes high. Really like this movie. I really like this movie. It's definitely in the S tier. I don't know. I don't know if it's really up there. It is probably better than The Great Mouse Detective. Yeah, probably. It's kind of a perfect little movie. I don't remember it super well, but I remember enough to know that I liked it. It's bad because I do remember it, but I don't remember it at the same time. Oh, though, I remember really I watched it quite a few times as a child, so I'm surprised I don't remember better. I'd say it was, yeah, I'd say this is it's probably higher than this, really, but I would probably put it about there, above Tarzan, actually. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say that's about right. Well, no, maybe it's above Lion King, too. It is Dumbo. Hmm. Gorgeous animation. It's a really roundabout sort of story, so yeah, yeah, let's put it even higher. Okay, yeah, I'd say, uh, it could go be above Aladdin, for goodness sakes. Okay, you know what? I'm putting it in the top 4. I might regret it, but it's not quite at the level of Beauty and the Beast, but I do think it's close. I'm sorry, I don't really remember it well, so I feel bad about putting it in the top 4, but I remember it enough to know it was just a good roundabout story where, like, not too much went wrong with it, you know? Wasn't a lot wrong, though. Winnie the Pooh. I never seen it. This is gonna be the one movie I put in that category. This was the last Disney animated film, and sadly, I never watched it, and I feel bad about that kind of, but now we got all these musical ones to do, which I do not remember at all, so that's gonna be bad. I've seen them all, though, so they will be put up here. Bambi is just I remember this one very well. It is going in S. Bambi will go right here. This is a pretty good ranking, though, I think. The Hunchback of Notre Dame is the only one that's kind of weird, maybe even Tarzan. But whatever, you know. I like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. I think it's underappreciated. Oh, what the heck. I'll put Pinocchio a little above that. I think that's more fair. But I can't put it above The Little Mermaid. That would be dishonest. Yeah, I think that's fair. Oh, now I've got movies I don't even remember at all. Uh Saludos Amigo. I couldn't even I remember them all being like in the C category. Yeah, yeah, I'd say that's fair. So I feel like even if I watched these movies, I wouldn't remember them that well. I will say something about Fantasia 2000. Some really good skits in it, some really beautiful scenes. I remember the toy soldier one, or maybe it's like a army. I forget what exactly. He might have been a nutcracker, but that was really beautiful. This element thing that went on, really beautiful. Still, though, those celebrity guest appearances really hurt the movie. It's just such a big part that really pushes it down. But it at least gets that's higher. What am I doing? Okay, that's more accurate. Yeah. And then the Three Cabelleros is higher. I remember actually really liking this one. This one was cute. In fact, I think it's probably better than nah. Fantasia 2000 has the benefit of having some really good scenes in it. Not a bad movie, really. Fun and fancy free. Sorry, I'm hurrying a little. We're out of time for sure. But it's been like an hour probably, maybe hour and 5 minutes. Yeah. My voice is starting to get sore. We're getting low. Yeah, we gotta hurry. Melody time. Freak if I remember that one. On the range. Oh, it's better than that. It'd be probably. I'd say that one actually is above. I really like the Jack and the Beanstalk story. Yeah, that's the one. So yeah, I put that above. We'll put that. Lilo and Stitch is better though. Oh, I know people really like the Rescuers Down Under though. Well, you're wrong. So I don't know. I just didn't like it when I was a kid. I mean, I didn't hate it. I thought it was good enough, but like of my favorites. Melody Time and Make My Music. Don't remember it all, but I remember it at least being decent. So, Melody Times and Make My Music here. So there we are. Let's make sure there's no Disney animated films here. And now we have to check and make sure everything is right. So the winner is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I'm not changing. I'm tempted, but I'm not going to change it to Fantasia. It's the first Disney animated movie, and crazily enough, it's the best. Haven't seen that. Brother Bear is definitely the worst freaking movie. Sorry if you do. It's the only movie. It's the only Disney movie I hate. You have to give me one, okay? Home on the Range characters were pretty good, so I think that's pretty accurate. Treasure Planet was too gross. Home on the Range. Make My Music. These are just forgettable. Like, I saw all these and I forgot about them. Three Cabelleros, much better. Getting towards more memorable territory. Fantasia 2000, some great scenes, still probably a failure. Rescuers Down Under, yeah, it's good. It's good. Fun and fancy-free Lilo and Stitch. Should I put that in the B category? Because I know the kids at Yawklades love this movie. Like, I feel like almost I should just put it in the B category just to, it is better than the Aristocats, for goodness sakes. I didn't like it, and I would probably put it in the C category. I didn't hate it or anything. But you know what? Lilo and Stitch, I'm being too hard on Lilo and Stitch. It's a great movie. What am I doing? Let's put that one. We'll just say this was where it would have been if it was just my opinion. But since it's partially yours opinion as well, I will put it, wait for it, way up here. That's right. I'm being really nice. I didn't hate it or anything. Just a few things that grossed me out. I loved the show when I was a kid. I actually liked the show better than the movie. And the sequels, too. They were cute. The show's sequel movies. So, yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. The Aristocats, The Rescuers, Oliver and Company, The Sword and the Stone. Such a good film. The Black Cauldron, Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, say that's right. Hercules, Atlantis, Pochahontes, Peter Pan, Princess and the Frog, Lilo and Stitch, Mulan, Robin Hood, and we'll do the countdown here in a second. Sleeping Beauty, yeah, it's about right. Alice in Wonderland, yeah, no, I'd say that's right. The Jungle Book, 101 Dalmatians, Ichabod and Mr. Toad, Fox and the Hound, The Great Mouse Detective, Tarzan, The Lion King, Lady and the Tramp, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Pinocchio, The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Dumbo, Bambi, Beauty and the Beast, Fantasia. That's about as perfect as I can make it. So let's do the countdown. How many movies are even here? Yeah, that's true. I don't know. So we'll just do from 1 to the worst, I guess. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs at number 1. Fantasia, the second best Disney animated movie. Beauty and the Beast, third. Good. Really could easily just switch places with any of these at any moment. Bambi at 4. Dumbo at 5. Aladdin at 6. The Little Mermaid at 7. Pinocchio at 8. The Hunchback of Notre Dame at 9. And with a really good plot, The Lady and the Tramp at 10. The Lion King at 11. Tarzan at 12. Mouse Detective at unlucky number 13. The Fox and the Hound at 14. The Adventures of Ichabob and Mr. Toad at 16. 101 Dalmatians, 17. That's right. 13, 14, 15, 16. 101 Dalmatians at 16. The Jungle Book at 17. Alice in Wonderland at 18. Sleeping Beauty at 19. Cinderella at 20. The Emperor's New Groove at 21. Robin Hood at 22. Mulan at 23. Lilo and Stitch at 24. The Princess and the Frog at 25. Peter Pan at 26. Pocahontas at 27. Atlantis, The Lost Empire at 29. 30 at Hercules. 31, Winnie the Pooh. Black Cauldron, 32. Sword in the Stone, 33, 34. 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46. All right, so that's 46. Not as many as you would think. animated films. But you know what? Even if I got the numbers wrong, here are the top 10. Feel like I feel like I should put Lion King higher. I know 11 seems low for the Lion King. I will say, if this was entirely all just your opinion, I would take out the Hunchback of Notre Dame and put the Lion King right here. I will say that, but because it is my opinion, I'm going to stick with it. And I was very nice and allowed your opinion to push up in the rankings. But yeah, that's pretty accurate. I think I did a pretty good job there. That is how I would rank it. So, no chat. Okay, so nobody came. We got to quit. I have a lot to do. I'm going to go take a walk, and I will see you all. And I am not really marrying this doll. So, sorry, baby. All right, well, love me some Disney. Way to go, Disney. You're making great films. Keep it up. Make more Disney animated films, please. Really, like you really need to. You've been a long time. Snow White's the best. Sorry to all the Snow White haters. It's the best. Awesome movie. Masterpiece. Like this video.